You can tell me when you're ready. We're good? Okay, great. So welcome everybody to the last BNB meeting of the year. Thank you for coming. Very much appreciate it. We're going to start as we do every meeting with the board members introducing themselves and giving you some context about where they come from. So I'm Todd Haskins, representing Manhattan, and served for 6 years in the Marine Corps. Charles?
Charles Hernandez, United States Army, retired, disabled.
Yeah, hi, John Rowan, Queens, 100% disabled veteran.
Hi, Tiffany Darby, U.S. Army, medically discharged, and I went to Manhattan.
Hi, Vincent Osborne, U.S. Army nurse corps, 30 years.
Wendy McClinton, the United States Army, 7 years. I represent Brooklyn.
Oh, I represent Brooklyn as well.
Peter Kaufman, I represent Queens, 5 years in the Navy.
And I'm Joe Bello, the Secretary, 11 years U.S. Navy, and I'm representing the Bronx.
So we have, this is a particularly unique time because we've just concluded the tenure of our first commissioner of the Department of Veteran Services. So Commissioner Sutton obviously just recently resigned and has been replaced by Commissioner Hendon, who I'll introduce here in a moment. But I wanted to take a moment first to introduce a motion, particularly in the annual report, but I'd like to introduce a motion that the board recognize Commissioner General Lori Sutton for the great work that she's done over the past 3 years and sort of in terms of getting the Department of Veteran Services established and setting a real vision for the city. Any second to the motion?
Second.
All right.
Without objection.
Without objections, that would pass. So it is, I mean, honestly, it is a very exciting time. As many of you know, the history of veterans support in the cities has ebbed and flowed with various administrations, and the establishment of the Department of Veteran Services was a real milestone for veterans in terms of creating an opportunity to create consistency across administrations, regardless of who's the mayor and his or her administration's prerogatives. Now there's joint support and oversight from the City Council, and as well as a much stronger and more well-staffed and more appropriately staffed in light of the importance that veterans have in this community. For background, I think when Lori joined the Mayor's Office of Veteran Affairs, there were 4 full-time employees, including herself, if memory serves. And as of today, there's 48 positions, 7 openings. So if folks know people who are looking for jobs in the city, there's 7 openings right now, and we're always looking for good talent. We're also excited now to I'll get the opportunity here to introduce the new commissioner who's back there. So I just, in the interest of formality, I will actually read his bio because it is quite impressive. So Commissioner Hendon, the second commissioner of the Department of Veteran Services, was most recently the director of the NYU Veterans Future Lab, a small business incubator for practicing aspiring entrepreneurs who are U.S. military veterans or veteran spouses. And Commissioner Hendon is a veteran entrepreneur himself. He's also the CEO of the Energy Economic Development Corporation, which is an organization that helps communities and small businesses take advantage of energy-related advancements. Prior to that, he served as the COO of Block Power, a Department of Energy-sponsored company that helps nonprofits, small businesses, and faith centers perform energy initiative retrofits, and previously worked as an associate in the real estate investment banking group at Deutsche Bank. Before entering the civilian workforce, obviously he is a veteran, Commissioner Hendon spent 7 years in the U.S. Army as an active duty infantry officer, where he deployed as a mortar platoon commander and battalion public affairs officer to Iraq in 2005, and worked as an admissions officer for West Point from 06 to 07, and served as senior advisor to the Afghan border police in Afghanistan in 07 through 09. He's a graduate of West Point, class of 2002, and a 2012 graduate of the Harvard Kennedy School and Columbia Business School, so a chronic underachiever, as all of us know. And a 2015 graduate of the Earth Institute Program of Conservation and Environmental Sustainability. As many of you know, previously to that, he also served as a mayoral appointee on the 11-member New York City Veterans Advisory Board. So let's welcome Commissioner Hendon to talk about his perspectives and priorities going forward.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. First off, giving honors and salutations to the board. Thank you so much, everybody, just for doing what you're doing on the DAP side, and also to all who came out tonight. We truly appreciate you being a part of this community. I'd be remiss if I didn't call out the TPS staff also, all the folks on the team right now who are blocking and tackling to support our veteran community. As Todd mentioned, my name is James Hendon, and I'm so honored to serve as Commissioner for the Department of Veteran Services. Not going to take too much time, just want to get directly to the point of certain things, and then we'll continue this meeting. First thing to say is, once again, thank you so much for being here. It's something to go from not only serving in uniform, or serving be it as a service member, or as a caregiver, or a family member, survivor, as far as making that sacrifice. But then go from that life to still being out in the community the day to day, trying to help one another. So we appreciate you so much. Please give yourself a round of applause. There's not going to be much daylight, much of a change between the old administration as far as, General Sutton, my predecessor, and what I do. We've got a strong suite of incredible programs we offer within the Department of Veteran Services, and we do what we can to make sure that if we don't have it, we get you in front of someone who does. As far as other nonprofits in the space, many of whom we get today, other agencies in the city and state and federal levels, and then just this meta platform we have called Vet Connect NYC, which is the digital public square for the veterans community. So I can sit here, it's kind of like a Greek diner, restaurant owner, talking about his or her menu, look at every single thing, we have a menu. Look at it to learn more on nyc.gov/vets. The biggest change, and not really a change, but the thing to take away from this, now that I'm here, we want to focus heavily on outreach. We want to make sure that as many of the 210,808 veterans who are in the city of New York, and it's just veterans, it's not even including the caregivers, the survivors, the spouses, that they have every opportunity put in front of them to be able to take advantage of the fact that the sacrifice was made, and we need to make sure that if there are opportunities for folks to get to a higher level, especially on account of that prior sacrifice, that they can elevate. So with that said, my main goal, I keep telling people this over and over again, is when they ask us, hey James, we're the veterans, we have these opportunities, that we are able to, I won't say deliver, but to make sure we put them in touch with those veterans for all issues. Be it things that deal with, just economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, employment. Be it things that involve mental health. Just had a conversation a few minutes ago, the subject was, how do we preempt incidents before they arise? How do we make sure I know John Doe or Jane Doe before they get into some serious drama? To even having something like, I told you, we have 210,000 veterans in this community. How many people in this audience right now? We need to have more folks here having a seat at the table. Because while our mission is to foster purpose-driven lives for service members past and present, along with their caregivers, survivors, and spouses, beyond that, the way we accomplish that mission is by connecting, mobilizing, and empowering the veterans community. And so you'll always be able to count on us as far as a place to go to help you get to that next level and pointing you towards certain programs, what we have in-house and wherever we can steward. But on top of that, we need you to help us make sure we spread the word to more people that are in this room, or that are watching this online, or that are tracking certain pieces. Success is if we all lift one another, and I know everyone's serving and giving something up, and I ask every audience I speak to continue to give. We have to continue to give. We don't exist right now, but for people who came before us and sacrificed for us to even have a Veterans Advisory Board, for us to even have a Department of Veteran Services, for us to even have a lot of things we take for granted as veterans and as supporters of vets. So I just ask you to, learn about what we do and spread the word about us. So take advantage of the programs we've got. Tell other people about the programs. If there's a way you can help, please join with us and help. I'm hoping that a year from now we don't have any more people here. Not just folks who are this group, but folks who can never even put their foot in the toe to support the community, to be with the community as we work to elevate. And with that, like I said, if you need to reach me, they've got a little little thing on the website. Go to nyc.gov/vets, email the commission, fill out what you want to fill out, that goes directly to me. That's one piece. Another piece is to always be able to visit us between the office here and the different satellite locations. The flyer that we have that expresses where we are as far as being about town. And that's all I have. I don't know how to open up for any questions, but I'm so happy to be here. So thank you. How many people are going to bring somebody with them to the next meeting? Remember, even if you see things and you don't, even if you're like, okay, I see what they're offering, I don't need these, I don't need these, I don't need these. If you know somebody, if you know just one person, you tell one person, if all of us just did that, we continue to amplify. So, yeah.
I do have one question. Is there any?
What's your name?
Oh, my name is, I'm Jack Johnson, and Perry Corvette, and I also work with the Department of United. And I'm also the lead person for our network of the started for the Veteran Support Service Network in South Bronx.
Okay.
We're closely with the department.
I'm sorry, it uses, okay, everybody.
I just wanted to ask you, sir, are there any plans moving forward, or you might not, gotten there yet, but to staff the outer borough offices, whether they can be open from Monday through Friday instead of 2 days out the week? Because there's a great need in our boroughs to get access to the services.
I appreciate that. Amjad, thank you so much. The question was, what are we going to do as far as having folks in these out-of-borough offices just sitting tight, ready to receive people? The answer to it is, I keep telling folks about offense, defense, but we don't just want people sitting in that out-of-borough as a permanent fixture, but also getting out within the community to go and reach out to folks. So as of now, in the current construction, the current way we're configured, hoping to grow right now, we are where we are. The bodies we have, we'll be able to have someone strapped to that seat in that borough, ready to receive him when he comes for at least 2 days a week. Want to get to a place where we've got folks, you got 2 days of doing that, but 3 days of just going hunting to find our veterans where they are. And then one thing I want to add to that too is when I think about finding our veterans where they are, I'm not just thinking about it with a geographic lens, I'm thinking about it demographically. We've got veterans, 13,000 female veterans in this city. We need someone who's focusing on that during that 3-day period. We've got veterans from our LGBTQ community. We want to make sure we're actively reaching out to them. Veterans who are currently working professionals, public, private sector, having someone actively reaching out like that. So when you think of outreach and the offense, think of it in terms of meeting people where they are in that way, not just geographically, while also serving this 2-day piece. I'm hoping that as we get more bodies, which is in the future, it's a fight, to continue to staff up, we'll be able to have people who are permanently situated in these sites. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you say, sir, you work for the city, right?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, if anyone who's a city worker, there's a program that just got set up called Service to Service also. There are about 9,000 City of New York employees here and who are veterans. And if you are someone who is a veteran who's looking to work for the city, or someone who's done AmeriCorps, which is like a Peace Corps, modern day Peace Corps work, we can tie into someone like you to have that connection so that it's ideally putting you on the right track for employment. So that's something else where it's just go to the website, you just go to nyc.gov/vets, and say, or nyc.gov/S2S, and you can learn more about that. Any other questions?
Yes,
Jim.
good evening, my name is Giovanni Tavares.
Take the mic.
I'm with the New York State Veteran Chamber of Commerce, and I've been visiting a few of the VFWs and the other locations, and where they're dying off. There are just not enough members going to them. The younger guys are not going. The place I've seen the most amount of young veterans have been at job fairs. I mean, I try to go to every single one of them. I don't see any outreach at the job fairs where we can get, like, some of these companies are for profit, so they want to keep their mailing list secret, or is there any way that we can work with them, that they have the list of veterans that are in New York or the Tri-State area looking for work, signing up to go to a job fair? Can you work with them and try to get their names?
So the closest we do to that right now, you can always ask, we can always try to leverage the fact that we're not a for-profit, not a nonprofit, we're not anything else, we're just representing the taxpayers on behalf of veterans. So we can ask the questions, so we can do that. But at the same time, something we also have right now is a Veterans Career Council pledge, where we're asking employers, this just rolled out just a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. I started a job 2 weeks ago, so it's all new. But we're asking employers to sign on the dotted line saying they want to agree to hire veterans, that they want to agree to contract with veterans, it's a veteran business. So that's something we have in the works now. As far as something, I'm very open to it, but just know that the most we can do is ask the question, and we'll try to ask the questions. This is what I'm talking about. So if you have ideas, please put them on the table. Don't just keep things boxed up. Give us we represent you. We want to represent you in every way, including the thought leadership. So anybody has ideas like this one, let us know. I mean, email us or call us, let us know. That's what I'm saying.
John Whitaker, I'm just a member of,
Yeah, John.
I'm really just a member of Queens Team Red, White, and Blue, and obviously not actually speak for them, but I have been volunteering a lot of different types of non-post 9/11 nonprofits, Mission Continues, things on, but I'm obviously United War Veterans Council, which you have there, and just things, socialization things, but what I've noticed is there is a lot of young veteran activity, but it doesn't seem to be going to the traditional the big six, American Legion, VFW, things like that. And I think it's an issue because I think there's resources that the American Legion doesn't have, VFW, knowledge about how veteran service program stands, which a lot of the newer nonprofits really don't have. What I have a question to you is, if you would like more involvement from younger and stuff like that, if there were more programs in the city where they would lead volunteer opportunities, because they would come out, if it was a physical volunteer opportunity, they come out all the time. You go to the Bronx, out to Queens, Manhattan, all sorts of different activities, from rug marches to anything. So there are active, I don't know a lot of them, but there just seems to be like this big gap between the older veteran groups and the younger veteran groups, and whether you would have more volunteer opportunities or combined with the older veteran groups.
So thank you so much for that question, John. What we're thinking about in the near term is to have some sort of summit involving all these different VSOs, older, younger, and different nonprofits. Something we talk about doing sometime, ideally early next year, just to bring people together. Because I'm still on listening to a learning office. I come from entrepreneurship, so I'm new to looking at the entire canvas of veteran issues. So that's one side. Another side is we want to be efficient with how we're carrying ourselves. We don't want to replace the American Legion, or replace Team Rubicon, or replace Team RWB, et cetera. So for us, we want to find that right alchemy of how do we bring that in such a way where this event occurs, this end state of folks coming out across demographics, across age groups occurs without saying that we completely own this, because I don't know if it's necessarily government's place to fully be in certain realms, if that makes sense. The job for us really is to make sure that the gap is closed. But when we can find others who can take that weight, then we will allow them to. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, kind of.
Because what I'm saying is, first we're going to bring a lot of the folks from leadership together in a room just to make sure we got that synergy amongst all of us. That's the first piece. The second piece of it is, we want to make sure these things happen. As far as I always use the example of the bell curve, working the entire bell curve of our veterans community. And all of its shades, all of its sizes, all of its places. We make sure that happens, but we want to be wary of not doing something that someone else should be doing, or someone else can do. I want to work smart, not hard with this, because we don't have as much resource-wise to get the kind of impact we're looking to get. We only have, 20, 25 people in this room. There's so much more we're trying to triage.
I just think there's a lot of enthusiasm out there. Listen to young and post 9/11. For different things, physical activities, volunteering, stuff like that, but it doesn't seem to translate with what the traditional VSOs are doing. I've worked with some of the VSOs who've done some, combined things, but I think there could be more work done, like out St. Albans, we've been able to do some things with that particular, that's not really with like traditional VSOs that have done there and done events there, we've done events with them. And I think it's because the Vietnam veteran community basically is the massive community represents most, and I think we need to be more integrated with that particular generation of post 9/11, particularly the Vietnam veteran community, since it's a massive. So we're not wasting resources, just as a community.
John, we want to integrate. We want to integrate. I just want to make sure it's something where we are setting it up where it can ultimately be able to sustain itself down the long stretch. That's what I'm getting at. I don't know, John, if you want to throw anything in here from VBA side of it, but it's really about, we want to set this environment, we want to facilitate the environment, but we just got to be careful I need to survive, really, regardless of whether we're here. No, if we want to instigate it, but not micromanage it. I hope that makes sense, if that answers it a little bit. So, John, you want to add anything?
Wow, it's one of those organizations that's dying out. Literally. Vietnam Veterans of America, we at our last convention this summer, we agreed to try to look at the possibilities of changing our name and our constitution to open up our membership. But the bottom line is we really need to get a better understanding of where the younger veterans are at. we're a smaller organization compared to Legion or the VFW, but I would think if you talk to some of your elected officials, you'd find we probably in some ways have more clout on the Hill in DC than frankly some of the bigger ones. Because we've been able to focus on particular issues that are, we started off and frankly got creative because of how we got screwed when we came home. And the new veterans today aren't getting screwed. You've gotten everything. You've gotten the best GI Bill in the world. That's why 30-some-odd% of you college graduates are better. Another 30% are either in school or have had some school. I guarantee you if I did a survey of Vietnam era, it's probably less than 20%, probably more like about 15, and most of them were really pretty scattered. I mean, it was easy here in New York City to come home from Vietnam and go to the City University, which was still free or at least cheap. Most other places they couldn't do it. And even most of us did not go to school. So the bottom line is to finish your question, the issue though, and that's, we need to figure out how do we integrate with your electronic generation, your internet generation. We are definitely not in that generation of global. You can't tell that to my wife who watches me sit in front of my computer for 2-3 hours a day reading emails and texts. So we've got to integrate that. I think your point about the newer veterans and what they're doing, yes, they do a lot of great work, they do a lot of volunteer work, they do all these wonderful things in the community. But you don't understand that if you don't continue to work on the Hill in DC and in the State House, all those wonderful benefits you have are going to disappear as a politician somewhere down the line. When you shrink down to a very small number, they're going to want to get rid of you because you're going to be expensive. And, so that's part of it. You need to have a presence in those places. The other thing is one of the things that we do that needs to be beefed up is the whole veterans benefit side of the house, helping people file claims. And that, I know from talking to a lot of younger veterans, you feel great now. But all those little things you did wrong, and all those back problems you had when you were in the military, that ankle is screwed up, or that knee is screwed up, or truthfully, the PTSD you don't really want to deal with right now, it's going to get worse. And so, I used to do claims years ago, and I can tell you that, that twinge when you're 20 is going to hurt when you're 40, and it's going to cripple you when you're 60. And so you got to be prepared. And somebody in your generation has to be prepared to take up that baton and run with it.
Thank you so much, John. I want to clarify, I guess, hearing John speak on it. What I'm trying to say is things like what he's talking about, institutional transfer of memory, and how to fight and do advocacy in a deep, deep way from, say, a VDA to a Team RWB. That's something that it's not our place as government to do that. And I'm trying to facilitate strong touch points and synergy that is beyond just the ruck march and just the run. So we want to be able to have this community connected, to mobilize and empower, to be able to do other things. But I recognize that there's some places, I'm a small business owner myself, I recognize there are areas where, as government, we maybe shouldn't be involved. I hope that makes sense. All right. Let the work talk, so I like to say. In other words, as we work together, as you guys start to see us in operation too, especially with new leadership, I hope that you start to see the actions with the currency on this, because it's only, like I said, just a couple weeks in, but talk about it needs some nuance. So yeah, you had a question? Talk. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Burton, and I work at the Intrepid Air and Space Museum. And I oversee our veterans programs and resources there. I also am part of a professional organization, Museum Educators, and I'm just curious about the role that you see that cultural organizations, cultural institutions have to play in creating a synergy for veterans and their families and partners and caregivers, kind of the role that they have in this ecosystem of veteran services in the city.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. We think culture plays a very heavy role, and there's the idea of just having culture as a centerpiece of holistic just support for the veteran community and complete engagement in all areas on the arts side and the culture. That's one side of it. Another piece of it is thinking about how do we maintain the culture of our veterans as far as capturing the heritage, the real-time memories that are being made by this community. We've been talking heavily about initiatives there's no Gold Star anymore, there's no more Gold Star families in New York City. There's no more of the post-9/11 veterans in New York City. There's work to be done as far as more streets that can be named, more schools that can be named, things along these lines. And even existing monuments that need to be refurbished. So for us, it's about fighting to make sure that the culture is that new marks that haven't been met for this new generation of veterans, we account for that. Also protecting and just refurbishing the things that need to be refurbished. And then also, last but not least, telling the story of our veteran community. I like to think here in New York City, historically, the Vietnam veteran community, at least in the last 100 or so years, has been the bridge between that World War II/Korea community and the post 9/11 community. I want to make sure the stories are told. And last but not least, is somebody who's taking advantage of IUIC and all the different cultural programs there, and Culture Pass through my public library card and through our reserves, I'm children's reserves still, so the Blue Star Museums program, to make sure that we reach out to all institutions that already offer benefits to members of the veteran community, so that this is about informing our people, once again. So make sure we get the word out and say, hey, by the way, this is a great opportunity with this play that's being offered by TF, Theater Company, for instance, or this is a great time to be able to visit this top tier museum at no cost, and things along those lines. So we very much are simpatico in culture.
James, I'd like to give a shout out to Charlotte, the great work that you've been doing at the Intrepid, by the way. Done a lot for the Intrepid has done a lot to recognize military families outside Fleet Week, and we're all aware at that point. But you've done a lot of programs for kids. I think a lot of organizations can learn a lot from what you've been doing. The Intrepid, I heard your job fair went really well the other day, veteran job fair. So I really don't want to acknowledge that we've got a leader in this in the room, and I'm glad we're here and being part of that lot. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just want to add on what I said earlier. I'm Troy Wilson, OEF 1112 Army veteran. I'm here on behalf of NYC Veterans Alliance, but also on behalf of SUS, which is one of the SSBF grants. And I think one thing that we try to do with the Alliance, and what I try to do personally, is I've gone to some of the American Legions, and I have heard from them, and I really need to join my local one, and that's, I think, the next step that some of us need to take, is young people going the Vietnam generation, doing some integration there. But we also have, I had a lot of real estate experience and housing experience, and I have things to offer them as well that to me. So I wanted to speak here briefly because I wasn't sure if I was going to get to the end, but so I just wanted to say that young people can take it upon themselves to be that bridge too, because this community will get smaller as the decades go along, and we don't know if these benefits are forever. We hope so. We want to make the GI Bill the forever GI Bill. But there's a lot of integration that needs to happen generationally, and I'm going to try to do my part. The Alliance will try to do its part too. This one of its mission is all the young veterans and trying to build community. We have a list of events that goes up to 4,000 people, so that's one place where you can maybe find some new people. So that's all.
Well, thanks so much, Troy. As a member of the Veterans Alliance, thank you so much for everything you guys do. So I really am on board. So like I said, once again, for you can learn more about us, www.nyc.gov/vets. We're only people here. People have blind spots. Let us know when you have any ideas. Just email us. Just go to the website, put it on there. It'll get to us. Because what I'm trying to get an idea of is what are all the ways we can add value to veterans on the entire bell curve in all places. And the only bad idea is when it doesn't surface. So if you have some thoughts, please let us know. And you have something. Of course. Okay, yeah, it was something.
Okay. Maybe I have a partial solution, but I'm gonna give you a formal question. Do you have a liaison working within your office directly with the Veterans Administration?
We don't have someone who's working directly with it as a liaison. I have a direct relationship with Jim McDonald, my counterpart at the state level. Also, I know, it's on deck for me to meet with some of the different VA representatives here in New York, but we don't have a specific liaison office. What I know we have by way of liaisons is in each department in New York City government, they have someone designated as a veterans representative, but I can't speak to us having a specific liaison officer.
I think that might help in the future.
Yeah.
Especially you talk about coordinating electronically.
Mm-hmm.
That, most of the time, most of us, within the first 10 years of getting out, you're really active in the Veterans Administration, and then later on life changes and you don't go as often as you once did. So that might be something that you can work on in the future.
That's right. Thank you so much. Well, Bill, that's all I have. Thank you so much. Like I say, I'll be a good kid for the meeting. So, once again, next time bring somebody and
Appreciate the opportunity. So just for background perspective, the VAB, this is, we have a number of objectives and missions. One is to provide advice and counsel to the mayor and speak with the city council and also the commissioner on really any topic related to veterans in New York City. And we do that through daily dialogue and internal informal discussions and both formal discussions. And through our annual report that we publish every year that is posted on the PBS website. We're all volunteers. None of us are city government employees, or if we are, it's by coincidence, not in this official capacity. And so really the objective there is to be representatives and emissaries of the citizenry of New York. And so with that as background, one of the other things that we do at each of these meetings, in addition to having various topics such as introducing the new commissioner and giving people a chance to ask questions of him, is give the opportunity to hear the voice of the community and hear questions, either questions that are on your mind or announcements for events or other activities that you or your organization may be hosting. And I know a number of you have signed up to speak today, which the list is being brought right now. There you go. So we'll go through these and give everyone a chance to speak. If you already spoke through your question with the commissioner and don't want to, then let us know. Just in the interest of time, for everybody, if you can kind of limit your comments to 3 minutes, we would appreciate it. So first one, Lodstang Salaka. I apologize if I mispronounced that.
Thank you. First of all, I congratulate Commissioner James Cameron, the Commissioner of New York City. And thank you for allowing me to speak here today. So, my name is Lobson Salakat, U.S. Army strong veterans. Served 9 years, deployed 3 times to Afghanistan, and I left the service in 2016. So I'm still kind of in between transition mode. So I went back to school and I got picked up by the Census Bureau to work as a partnership specialist, which gave me some kind of relief to my life, to kind of purpose and a motivation to work on daily basis. So today I met Commissioner and Mr. Jason at the other event and told me about this event. So I never been here. So I kind of feel comfortable being around surrounded by veterans. So today I'm here as a partnership specialist. Is like since 1790, the Census Bureau has been conducting census every 10 years. And this is the one that I'm coming up, Decennial Census 2021, next year, 2020. And so we have an opportunity as veterans, one thing to get counted and the other things we can count them too, to get hired by the Census Bureau. So I'm just going to bring this very short. So why do we need the census? As a veterans, as a citizen, we have 2 responses. The first one is as a citizen, be counted, get counted. And the other one is as a veterans, and it's called the ACS, American Community Survey, conducted by Census Bureau, which will get information about your background, social-economic, whether you're a veteran or not. So I think that's very important. So the first one is why we need the census, about power. So to have a proper representation of the government, because New York State had 29 representatives in 2020, they lost 2 seats afterward, so they got 27 now. So New York State might want to back those seats. The other thing is money, the federal funding. So every year, the federal government distributes over $675 billion on services for profits. And the other thing is easy. This time, the Census Bureau developed the questionnaire collection system through the online, that it can be by phone or by mail. So if you don't do all of those things, then there will be someone knocking the door. So our prefer to do the online self-response. But the other one is safe. The reason I say safe is the Federal Highway Law 13 protects the privacy. And all the employees are shown to protect the confidentiality for life. And if they found guilty or if they violate it, then either go to jail for 5 years or $250,000 fine or could be both. So today I'm here as the veterans from different organizations and also like the BF itself as a leaders and as a leader want to use the leaders as a trusted voice to get the message out there, to get everyone to get counted. And today, like, if the BF can put on the agenda next time, I've been going through a lot of veterans organizations and Stand Islands have been very successful. I've been meeting them like at least 25, 30 people in one session. Is that kind of? Yes. Okay, so one thing I would recommend the BAB is to form a complete count committee for the New York City. That might be one of the reasons to bring all the veterans together from American Legion, AFW. I've been a member of all those big sixes, some of them are my family members. I think that's very important to connect among the veterans. And if I go there, they're looking for members. Like if I go to post, they will tell me, hey, are you a member? If not, I want you to sign up now. So that means they're looking for members. They have a place, they have a facility that they own. So if we can use or leverage the DVS to connect the younger generation and older generation together, I think that might be very helpful. And I think the complete count committee also might help because once you have a complete count committee, then you can have a subcommittee each borrow and have some kind of get together maybe once a month or once a month, 2 or 3 months. So thank you, and thank you so much, Commissioner, and thank you, Commissioner.
You have some information?
Yes, also, I'm sorry. So I'm not part of this census employment, but I do every time I go out there. So that means census check and there's 2 employment opportunity. 2020 census.gov is just for next year. That's temporary. It pays from $25 hours to $31.50. And flexible schedule. The one thing you have to be is 18 and above, US citizen, and you don't need resident or nothing like that. One application is good for all persons. And the other one is USA job, federal job, that also could be temporary for next year, or could lead to permanent USA job if you have to have a resume, and we have to target the job. Thank you, and you have applied it and they don't want it. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Great, thank you very much. So next up is Caitlin Filter.
Hello everyone, I'm the mayor of Corte Vista. Thanks for the shout out. I'm currently placed at Fordham Law School Spirit Center for Social Justice, where I support the Volunteer Lawyers for Veterans program. I see a lot of familiar faces in the room. I am nearing the end of my service here, but for those of you who haven't met me, our program offers limited scope legal services, primarily in the areas of consumer debt and VA benefits. A lot of what we do is legal education and information. We've been doing a lot of lawyer rights presentations lately, and we're always looking for partner organizations to expand and bring those initiatives to new places and new groups of veterans. So if anyone here is involved with an organization that might want to work with us, we would be glad to meet you. And I also just wanted to quickly introduce my successor, Taylor Messenger. This is his second week as a Vista. So in the future, if you're working with VLE, you'll be working with Taylor, and it's been a pleasure working with many of you over the last year. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. We appreciate all the work that you guys have done and that you'll continue to do. So next up is Ashton Stewart.
Thank thanks for the VAB for all your hard work and welcome. So yes, I've partnered with a lot of groups here and collaborated with you over the last year and a half. Just wanted to also thank DBS because we are now officially part of Vet Connect. We're really excited about that as well to get that piece of the puzzle placed because I represent Sage Vets, which is a program for older LGBT vets. It's a New York State program. And we educate, advocate, and commemorate. So it's essential that we do partner up with other legal and veteran service providers to connect with veterans and then connect them back to the service providers. This has been a great year for us. Locally on Veterans Day, Mayor de Blasio announced a new initiative that we helped provide some information and background research on that's going to help give funding for legal service providers to help with LGBT veteran discharge upgrade cases, which is fantastic. And thank you very much, John. And at the state level, Restoration of Honor passed the next day. We were also really involved with that. And as soon as the legislature passed it, we became very active on getting support from VFW, the New York State Council of Veteran Service Organizations. It was like over a dozen different veteran groups. Jenny, another group, a huge list of LGBT groups. So we just built this huge coalition. They all sent out the support to the governor, and then he finally signed it. We're so excited. The State Division of Veteran Services had all of their staff certified with a Rainbow Shield, which is cultural competency training, which is really essential. We've already paired up a lot of our veterans with that agency, so the fact that they're getting training to make sure they don't say anything that could be derogatory or discriminating, even if it's not on purpose, that would be really problematic because older LGBT vets really struggle with identifying as veterans, so this is really huge. And it's also created a ripple effect. California is trying to create similar legislation based on the Restoration of Honor Act. Rhode Island passed their own version of similar legislation, so the more states that do this, the more pressure will be on the federal government to make this a federal mandate for the upgrade process. We've got a big event tomorrow night. Edward Field is a World War II veteran. Some people from Disney made an animated film of his plane getting shot down, his heroic rescue. He wrote a poem about it in 1965. He's narrating the poem in this film. Just won an award at Chicago Film Festival and the Studio City Film Festival. It's amazing. It's tomorrow night. We got some people from DBS coming, very excited about that. Hunt Deutsch is supposed to be coming, as well as Jim McDonough. It's going to be really amazing. And last but not least, I'm a member of the VFW and American Legion, and I see that they're starting to open up to different ideas. I did a presentation for almost a dozen Bronx VFW American Legion commanders the other day. It's also part of In Honor of with Ed Salick and Paul Dietrich, who are Legion members in Staten Island. We had a very awesome conversation that was televised about Sage Vets and one of the issues that surround that group of veterans who are often forgotten about. So the work is continuing. It's been an exciting year. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the opportunity to talk today.
Great, thanks Ashton, thanks for the great work that you guys have done, and congratulations on some new legislation. Next up we have is Nicolette Oro, I believe, or maybe Nicholas, or maybe someone whose name sounds similar to that, Maroon. Okay, we'll move on to the next one then. Gao Tabaret.
Gio Rivera. Gio I wear my Navy hat proud everywhere I go. Some people thank me. A lot of people give me the thumbs up. At every company I go to, I really start getting involved with their veteran affinity group. And I just had the last company I'm working with right now will donate approximately 15 printers. Yes, they're moving offices. These printers are between 6 months to less than a year old. We won't throw them away. We're donating them. So any nonprofits need a small 502 printer or some of the larger color printers, please come see me. Giovanni Tavares, New York State Veteran Chamber of Commerce.
And then last but not least, Molly. You are awesome. You're going to go get one. Grab that. Just one more.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Commissioner. I met you before. I didn't like it. And Lori Sutton and I were together just recently at the parade and place. Anyway, my name is Marlene, otherwise known as Molly Levi. Many of you might have known my late partner, Patrick Walteri. We were both with United War Veterans Council for quite a number of years. He was the brains behind producing the Veterans Day Parade and helping elevate it to the level it is now so that it could be produced on television. And if anyone, I taped it, I was in the parade, marching up. If they didn't know, I was actually on the float. I'm also a member of VVA 126 Manhattan. I'm an associate AVVA. And I just wanted to mention, anybody can join a lot of these organizations. It is not just restricted to veterans. It is open to spouses, partners, or like me, I'm a veterans advocate. I'm also a member of Growing Gun Chapter 1 in Brooklyn. So we are very involved in the veterans community. I produce a newsletter for the veterans community. My email is mlevi426@AOL. I like to get all the events that are out there and be able to produce it. But I have been remiss in the past month because AOL can no longer handle my newsletter. My system crashes, so I have to look into either Constant Contact or MailChimp. So I'm looking into that. I just feel very badly I couldn't produce anything for the past 3 weeks or so. But generally, all your events, whatever you're doing out there, services that are offered, I produce that and put it in calendar order so that I try and expand it. My list is now up to at least 800 people that are on my, my email outreach. So I try and promote events that come to me with some degree of vetting and credibility, obviously. And I also wanted to mention, there are certain things that we do also. I created a nonprofit organization called PLG, Veterans Assistance Fund, in memory of my late partner. And one of the things that had created many years ago was an outreach taking the holiday Valentine's Day, because all the other holidays were covered. He wanted to cover that. So we used to do a Valentine's caravan called the Goodwill Valentine's Caravan, go to Walter Reed. We had like 17 to 20 people come with us. Then we brought it more local back home, and I continued in his stead. And so I produce that every year at Brooklyn VA, and sometimes Manhattan, sometimes UWVC and I partner up, sometimes we may work independently. And we bring a day of just unconditional love to the veterans at the Brooklyn VA. I'm used to working Wall Street. I have my organization from Wall Street. We set aside a day, we just firmed up the day today in January, where we do handmade cards. They are beautiful. We spend like 2 hours. One of the corporate Wall Street companies sponsors it. And we produce beautiful handmade cards that we bring. But I also, beyond that, we get toiletries, we get hat scarves. There's a lot of things that the veterans want and need, and they come and they say, how much does it cost? It's all free. We'll get out. Try and get some corporate sponsors. I have several. So we sometimes get pins and we get other things, flashlights. We have a lot of different things. And I do. In fact, one of the things I did want to throw out is I have done clothing drives for Samaritan Village in the past years, at least 6 clothing drives for both New York and Ellenville. I've also done it for Fountain House. But right now I'm at an impasse because even the VA, everybody wants new clothing. Well, I have gently used clothing, both from my partner, in fact, I was just at Calverton yesterday for a neighbor, her spouse passed away. We were at a military, which I helped set up with Dignity, anyway. But people, I'm trying to see where I can do a clothing donation of gently used clothing, and I'm at an impasse now because everybody wants new clothing. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. Because I love to pass on this, I don't want it to go recycling. I do not want it to go that way. I want it to go absolutely to veterans. That's my preference. That's what I want it to. John, you have an idea?
We will donate to the ordinary, the veterans shop.
To the board meeting. I've done it with Samaritan Village, and I've done many times, but sometimes I don't need any more. Will they pick up?
No.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I was able to work that out also with, Hope for Warriors was able to pick up and bring it to Fountain House for me last year. I don't have a means to do that, so. Anyway, but that's a job, Mary, I can contact them. Okay, that's good, thank you. Okay, so anyway, and I also, one of the things that under the PLG Veterans Assistance Fund, my 3 children.
So last one, thank you, Molly, by the way. Last speaker, Troy Olson. There's also a note that he had to leave at 7.
Yeah, no, I cleared it down.
Okay.
Right, wait for the next meeting.
which by the way is actually a World Veterans Project. So that'd be great to have more of that. It's been very therapeutic for me. So I'm here representing, as I said earlier, the New York City Veterans Alliance. So we have three kind of major pillars. One is to build community, whether across generations, different conflicts, or communities that are underserved by the services that are out there. We also promote veterans as civic leaders. Through the Vet Alliance, I've been able to advocate at the city, state, and national level on various issues. And then thirdly, we also have an advocacy agenda. We have a new deputy director, James Fitzgerald, who cannot be here today. He's actually at a community board meeting. But he will be joining the leadership team. I myself am on the board. And recently, I mentioned earlier that we have a pretty extensive email event calendar that goes out to a list of about 4,000. So that's a good place for any of those events, whether we're involved in them or not. All of those events that are on that are potential outreach opportunities in bridging gaps. And then I'm also here on behalf of one of the SSDF grantees. I'm a SSDF Community Housing Navigator at Services for the Underserved. The SSDF grants are federal grants to community nonprofits. It's a nationwide program, and it's one of the pillars along with HUD-VASH and HVRP in combating veterans homelessness, which we've seen about an 80% reduction in the city since 2011. So that's been an amazing success story. I give or take, it's about 80. About an 80% reduction in veterans homelessness in the city.
Like 5,000 in 2011 to 1,600 now.
Yeah. So, and then so we are, and then also we just had Veterans Day, which is a really busy day for all of us. We for the 5th year in a row, going back to the Vet Alliance, we carried the Ground Zero volunteer flag. So that was an amazing experience. I got to do that this year. Previous years I marched with IAVA, but this year the Vet Alliance carrying that flag was really powerful. And I recommend that to everyone to try out one time in the next few years, wherever you're marching with. And then we also recently did a rock march. I was not at this rock march, but I was at the Brooklyn one. Cultural heritage was mentioned earlier. We do every August we commemorate the Battle of Brooklyn, and we have mostly post 9/11 soldiers walking through history, 18 miles rock march. If you're up for it. So we kind of retraced the historical steps of that battle, and we also did a sort of a modified version of Manhattan, which I was not able to be at, but both of those experiences were a lot of fun. So that's what we've been up to, and we'd love to have you aboard, chat me up later on the way out. I have cards if you need them, so up to speed.
Unless anyone else had any other questions, comments, or announcements?
We need to accept the September minutes.
Our secretary has informed us we need to accept the September minutes, so if there's no objections, I would. Who's the second?
Second.
Okay. So John, you want to say something?
Yeah. Yeah, I just had an announcement on December 20th at 10 a.m. The Friday, I believe. The Queens Vietnam Veterans Memorial is going to be dedicated. This is the memorial for the Vietnam veterans who died, folks who died in Vietnam from Queens. It's very sort of similar to the wall. It's going to be big black granite kind of thing. And it's in a park on 79th Street and Grand Avenue in Elmhurst, which is where the tanks used to be. If anybody's in Queensite, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not, then forget about it. I can't tell you about it. But it's a nice park, and it's in a nice section of the park, and we've been working on this for a long time. One of the prime movers of that was Pastor Toro, who the president of Chapter 32 BVA in Queens. Unfortunately, Pat passed away 5 years ago, and can't see it today. But it's going to be interesting. Several friends of mine who's got some family members on that wall and a lot of other people, but we encourage anybody to come. I mean, Queens being what it is still a melting pot of the world. And it was a melting pot of the world even back in the 60s. And if you just look at the names on the walls, and I know from my own neighborhood in Elmhurst, we lost 9. When we did the dedication of the Elmhurst Memorial, to the 9 Elmhurstians who died in the war, the first kid was from France, one of the kids was from Latvia. We had a couple of Hispanics, one of which we know is Puerto Rican, the other one was Colombian. We had a Jewish kid, Levi, not Levi, Levi, and a German kid, and I mean, it's amazing. I mean, talk about, what makes up the military in those days, and even today. And when we did the dedication, we had a representative from the French government, who happened to be a former member of the French Veterans Organization. We had the counselor from Colombia and the principal counselor from the ambassador from Latvia. I mean, it was amazing, just on a little street corner in Elmhurst. So I invite you all to come out to that. As was mentioned earlier, I find every time I listen to the younger veterans, I really, first of all, what is with you guys in this running stuff? I don't understand. What you guys want to do is run everywhere. I mean, I came home from Vietnam, I never wanted to run again. I was in the Air Force, so we didn't do much running in the first place. But seriously, it is an interesting aspect of what's going on. And so there's a lot of interesting things happening now too that you should all be aware of. The one thing we took away with us from Vietnam, unfortunately, was Agent Orange, which can easily be simply said called toxic exposure. That was self-inflicted, but we seem to do a lot of that. For those of you who've been in Iraq and Afghanistan, you've got the burn pits to deal with. But it gets worse. The real problems now is also back in the States. There's a new movie coming out, Dark Water, I think it is. There's some articles in the paper about it because they testified in Congress about water pollution. For those of you who are Marines, you've heard about Camp Lejeune and the problems they had at Camp Lejeune with the water. It was terrible, and the Marines knew about it, didn't tell anybody, and left a whole generation of Marines and their families ill. Well, that's your biggest problem too if you served in the military in the last 20 years. There's 149 Superfund sites on Air Force bases in the United States. The terrible amounts of pollution, how many of you know what PFAS is, PFAS? You learn, you'll find out it's pretty brutal stuff, and it's everywhere, and it particularly shows up in the bases. As we always say in Vietnam veterans, the Agent Orange killed a lot more of us than the VC ever did. By far, probably multiples of 10 or maybe even 100. And that's also true today. To give you an example, one of my colleagues did some research about Shimming, Alaska, an Air Force base up there. If you think about a place like Alaska, what do they have to do with aircraft all the time? De-ice it. Where does all that stuff go? It's very corrosive material. It goes right in the ground. They have terrible water pollution problems. They have water pollution problems in many of the communities adjacent to military bases. So not only are the military people screwed to live on those bases, but the people in the community are screwed as well. This is going to be a big issue, and it's far from over. And unfortunately, as the Vietnam veterans will tell you, again, a lot of this stuff doesn't show up until 40 years later. So again, you're 20 or 30, you think you're golden, and wait till you're 50 and 60, and hopefully you don't get anything, but you never know. And you better have hopefully somebody there around to take and file your claim for you when you're done. But more importantly, you need to take a proactive look at all of this pollution. And I just started to hook up with a group of Air Force folks. I belong to something called the Red River Valley Fighter Pilots Association. The Red River flowed through Hanoi, and these were the guys who went north. And they started an organization that's lasted now into multiple generations. But they came to me with an issue where they're concerned about the flyers sitting in the cockpits today seem to have an inordinate high rate of cancer. And the only thing they can think about is the emissions coming off the equipment in the cockpit. You got all of this wonderful modern equipment, but it gives off radiation, it gives off emissions, and they think it's causing them to get cancer. And they want the Air Force and the Navy to study it. This is also probably true in our day-to-day work. I mean, I remember when everybody was worried about the cell phones giving us cancer, I'm not so sure that they really did the research they should have on that. And the one thing they know from these jet jockeys I was talking to, we're also talking about the ground radar people who would do the work sitting in a radar installation and stuff getting emitted all over the place. I mean, all of this modern equipment is interesting, but a lot of it, nobody knows really what the long-term ramifications are of utilizing this stuff. So, when we're, and look, my generation's fading fast. I mean, I'm 74. I'm right kind of in the middle. Well, some of my guys are a little younger than me. My gals are a little younger than me, but not much. And we have no idea, by the way, what the rate. One of the things, for example, this will horrify the women in the room. We know that the Agent Orange had much more effect on women than men, particularly with reproductive issues. Had a terrible effect on the women. And again, we don't know what that means today with all sorts of other exposures that you folks have been dealing with in the field. And especially this burn pit silliness, I mean, and they do it in the States too, from what I understand, which makes no sense. There's no EPA in Afghanistan, nobody gives a damn. And I was talking to somebody one time, and they dug up an old burn pit and found a tank. I don't know how that got there, but I mean, it just shows you what the militaries don't give a damn. And they burn anything and everything. So I really encourage those of you the younger veterans and all your friends, go talk to everybody and get them involved because it's on your own best behalf to do that. So, thanks.
Thank you, John.
Great, thank you, everybody. That concludes our, oh, you got one more comment?
Just real quick. I don't know what the vision is in this area of housing, right? And someone mentioned earlier, avoid housing. I mean, avoiding shelter. That whole process of veterans to get shelter, they need a certain facility that's going to be able to deal with them and issues based upon, military culture, because a lot of them get caught up and get lost in the system, and they wind up out on the street, in a matter of weeks or maybe months. So that's one thing. Another thing too is working with the nonprofits who have contracts to provide veteran housing to do oversight, because in a lot of cases they're not doing a wellness checks properly. Okay, well, especially those veterans with medical conditions, and they wind up dying in their rooms, and nobody knows it until they smell. Okay, there's a lot of different situations that's happening all over, but that's something that we need to hopefully be able to address in that area. In addition to the employment factor, to be able to look at a wide variety of local employment opportunities where not only with the city, but with for-profit entities in the outer boroughs that can be viable to help people to put some money in their pocket, because a lot of them, they can't hold on to their residence because they don't have enough income.